Well, since this is actually my first build on my own, instead of following a build guide and have limited adjustment, this build is actually 90% me. So I think I should talk about the build a little bit. So now the character is level 91, and I just kill the 4 Shaper Guardians without too much trouble actually. The damage is not top notch, but it's enough for endgame, I would say. And yeah, so basically, yeah, actually it's building around the Minotaur hammer basically, which converts 50% physical to lightning, and I further convert it to all lightning damage by using the physical to lightning support. And the skill I choose is Earthquake, and because this is a slow weapon, so you can actually make the attack speed slow enough to generate 1 aftershock per slam, so you don't lose any DPS on that unless you go over the cap of the... Yeah, I'm using a level 23% less duration, that's why my duration is 0.3 seconds, and if you're... From my experimentation, if you do not go under 0.33 second attack time, you get all the aftershocks. But if you get like 0.32 or something, sometimes the aftershock will not happen. I'm not sure if it's latency or whatever, but you don't want to actually go to 0.31 or 0.32. The aftershock may not always happen, but if you go 0.33, the aftershock will actually happen every time. And I know I'm at 0.36, and I will explain it later. So let's talk about the link first. I'm using Rattler Earthquake link with physical to lightning, making it 100% lightning, or 100% elemental rather, with Malefice, melee elemental damage with attack, and less duration. And the last link is Lightning Pen. And also, yeah, obviously if you do endgame bosses, you want to switch to Con Effect. And I'm not using increased AoE, but as you can see, the AoE is pretty damn crazy already, and Carcass Jack is basically giving you 50% area damage, which is basically a level 21 increased area of effect support, so yeah. And as you can see, if I slam the waypoint here, I can reach... The aftershock can reach nickel. So yeah, if I switch to increase AoE to further boost the area of effect, it go over nickel a little bit. As you can see, it's not that much of a difference, so it's not as effective. If you do not have the corruption I have, or if you decide not to use Carcass Jack, then maybe you want increase AoE for mapping. But because elemental resistant mobs are kinda common in Delve and in maps, in Incursion, and sometimes I think some of the Syndicate member also have any resists, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Lightning Pen. And actually, if we remove that, yeah, the AoE is still good. It reached the feet of nickel without the 27% corruption. So yeah, with the 27, yeah, it reached Nico instead of only his feet here, as you can see. So yeah, you can decide if you want to use Lightning Pen or not. I just think using Lightning Pen is important because we don't get enough penetration in this build. So with bosses, with Con effect is, again, it's not that much worse, the area of effect. This build stack enough area of effect. So yeah, but you don't want to run around with Con effect, obviously. You're gonna run around with Lightning Pen, and this area is totally enough for mapping and delve and stuff. And for aura, we're using Herald of Ash and Hatred because it's physical conversion, and these two auras give the most damage, even though we do not have Fire Pen or Cold Pen, except like 8% on the tree, I think. So yeah, this still give more damage than, say, Wrath or Herald of Thunder and stuff. And the Herald of Ash is also really helpful with the overkill damage and all the AoE we got. The explosion after with the overkill damage is actually enough to kill off the enemies that you miss, because you only get 90 to 95%. Even if you stack accuracy, you're only gonna get 95% hit chance. Some of them is not gonna get hit, it's gonna evade your attacks, and when that happens, the overkill damage is gonna finish them off. So basically, you leap slam into a pack, slam once, the aftershock is gonna clean up everything, basically, most of the time. And if they don't die with one aftershock, then you keep slamming, and they're gonna die. So yeah, for mapping is surprisingly good. For killing trash is surprisingly good, and actually even for Guardians, I feel the damage is not, obviously not top notch, but enough. You won't feel, it won't take too long to kill the Guardians. So yeah, that's that. So that's the main gem link, and the second 6 link will be Essential Warchief with Malefice, Fist to Lightning, Con effect, elemental damage with attack, and multiple totem, which allows you to put 2 totems at a time. Actually, you can get 3 totems at a time, but since the placement speed is not exactly that fast, usually I just put down 2 of them and start slamming. But if you for the fights that you can really set it up, you can set up 3 totems, which will be fine. Other links is Leap Slam with fast attack, Fortify, and Blood Magic, which allows you to keep slamming around. You can choose not to use Blood Magic, but our mana doesn't regen enough to sustain the Leap Slam, so I just run with Blood Magic. Other links are cast on damage taken, Immortal Core, Blood Rage, and increased duration. Yeah, when you take damage, you're gonna start generating endurance charges thanks to the Juggernaut Ascendancy. And now I think the Immortal Core is like 4.5 seconds or something if you have 7 endurance charge, which yeah, makes you really good against physical. And yeah, most of the time elemental damage you can walk around and dodge them, but physical damage a lot of the time is not avoidable. So I like having better defense against physical, and since I feel like with 7 endurance charge and the kind of long Immortal Core going on, I feel like I have enough defense. That's why I didn't go for like Lightning Coil or something, where did I put it? If you want to be extra tanky, your chest piece could be lightning coil. If you are afraid of physical, you can use lightning coil. Together with Taste of Hate, you get a ton of physical reduction, and with Flask up you can easily go over 15k armor. And if you use lightning coil, you can get even more armor because you don't get the bonus from... Yeah, let's talk about Ascendancy actually. We're playing Juggernaut. We go first. That's my Ascendancy order personally. Maybe you can choose it different order or something like that. But firstly, I take Undeniable, so I never need to worry about accuracy. Basically, never need to worry about accuracy anymore. And again, like I said, is 0.36 right now. But if I crit, I'm gonna get 30% increase accuracy, plus the cast on damage taken blood rage going on, which is enough to bring it down to 0.33 seconds, which I think is the fastest you can go without losing an aftershock. And I would really recommend buying a 2023 less duration, which is not that expensive. It's really kind of cheap. It's like 30-40 chaos, even in the middle of the league, because yeah, this is basically counting as a failed corruption because people want level 21. Obviously, if you get a level 21, is better than a 2023. Both 2120 or 2023 less duration will bring your aftershock to 0.3 seconds. Both of them. Even 2123 will still bring it to 0.3 seconds. So for the budget version, you get like 30-40 chaos with 2023 less duration. If you have more budget, or if you get lucky yourself, you get 2120 less duration. Both will bring it to 0.3 seconds. So you can adjust your attack speed to 0.33 to maximize your aftershock damage. And getting 3 aftershock is actually one of the biggest DPS boosts, and the reason why we can actually squeeze out enough DPS without too much other investment. That is, getting 3 aftershock per second is the biggest boost in damage before anything else. So yeah, you want the less duration. Others, you just it's not that big of a deal, but the less duration, you really want a 2120 or 2023. And 2123 will be exactly the same as 2120. So that's that. Yeah, like I said, if you have Blood Rage and crit running, the attack time will be perfect right now. And you can adjust the attack speed by having quality on the Blood Rage, having the lower level Blood Rage, higher level Blood Rage. And on the tree, there's still here and there some attack speed. You can unspec this point into this point to get more attack speed. Depending on your gear and jewels, you can get some attack speed here, attack speed here. You can switch around the points, so you can make sure your accuracy is at the right amount to not boost your attack speed past 0.33. If you find it too difficult to adjust, just stick with 0.35 a sec or something. Even if it's like 0.36 like I have right now, is you can see the aftershock is keep going on quite nicely. So yeah, adjust your attack speed with Blood Rage, level, quality, and also the tree. There's a few DPS nodes here and there around the tree, so yeah, so Ascendancy, continuing after the Undeniable, I take Unstoppable because that's movement speed and cannot be slow, so you don't need a freeze flask. Unstoppable actually makes you immune to freeze, and for any kind of snare or the tar ground, the zombie drops, the black tar ground zombie drops will actually make you down to 0% movement speed instead of below 0, because your movement speed cannot be modified to below base value, and action speed cannot be modified to below base value, makes you immune to freeze, chill, and temporal chain. So yeah, this is my second Ascendancy. This is my third Ascendancy, Unflinching. When you start getting into map, you want some endurance charge going on. Every time you get hit, you start to generate endurance charges every second. And if you get hit more, there's 30% chance to get endurance charge every time you get hit. And yeah. And also, every time you gain endurance charge, there's a chance you just gain all 7 of your endurance charges. And I think the fourth Ascendancy is kinda... yeah, you can choose whatever. If you think you don't have enough AoE, you can go Unyielding. If you think you are afraid of elemental or chaos damage, you can go Unrelenting. But I go with Unbreakable with the regeneration. So yeah, and the reduced damage taken for extra tankiness. That's... yeah, you can choose whatever. I think the fourth Ascendancy is everything works. So basically the tree is you get a bunch of life and 2 hand notes here, 2 hand notes here, I think I got 5 jewel sockets. Yeah, 5 jewel sockets. And all the endurance charge, some penetration, and the important damage boost is the ally overload. And because we only get 6, I think we only get 3 rolls per second, because I think it roll crit once with the slam and the aftershock, so it only roll crit once. I found the uptime of EO is not enough. That's why I'm using Stormbrand. I'm using Stormbrand for EO proc, and which is in the gloves with the 2 Harrow, and yeah, I'm using a Tomb Fist because that's 10% free damage, which we need, and also you can get cast speed corruption or spell crit corruption for your Stormbrand to proc your EO easier. And the Tomb Fist with the spell corruption will just be the same price as a normal Tomb Fist, because nobody else make use of it. So when you buy a Tomb Fist, just buy one with spell crit or cast speed. It will just be the same price as a normal Tomb Fist. So I think, yeah, I think once we are running no one socket already, so I don't think a 2 socket Tomb Fist is gonna benefit too much. Also, I'm crafting minimum frenzy charge on both rings and my amulet for frenzy charges, which is also damage and attack speed, which helps us get to the perfect amounts of attack speed to make 3 aftershocks per second, which is nice. The rest of the gear is like, yeah, this is Fossil Craft Helmet. The only thing you want is really life and the minus lightning resist. If you get Dex or In, you're gonna need it somewhere on the gear. So yeah, basically just spam the metallic fossil until you land good amount of life and the minus lightning resist, and see what else you can get here and there on the helmet. Chest, like I said, you can use Carcass Jack if you want to be extra tanky against physical, you can go Lightning Coil. If you're afraid of Elemental, you can go Law Weave and not use Taste of Hate and use Wise Oak or something like that. Amulet, you try to get a physical with extra lightning and life resist. And I intentionally have an open suffix when I buy the jewels, rings and amulet for the minimum frenzy charge. If you can get your attack speed right, or if you think you have enough damage, you can do whatever with the suffix, the minimum frenzy charge suffix. But I just personally like the frenzy charge that gives a lot of damage and attack speed. So yeah, otherwise you just want elemental. By the way, elemental damage is better than added damage. Obviously, if you can get both, that would be perfect, but it would be insanely expensive. But if you can only choose one, you want elemental damage more than added damage. So even if you have added physical plus added lightning, it will still get beat by, say, 40% elemental damage. Elemental damage with attack skills is better than other damage. So, well, actually, yeah, you want elemental damage. Ideally, you want both, but elemental damage I think is better than other damage. So, boots is, yeah, glove is Tomb Fist, boot is also, yeah, the boot is the enchantment. If you get the 100%, 120% crit chance if you haven't crit recently, again, helps you proc EO. You only need it on bosses. You really only need EO on bosses. Normally, if you're running around on map, Delve, or whatever, you don't need it. You slam the ground once, the aftershock is gonna kill everything in the area. And even if there's some left over, the overkill burning from Herald of Ash will kill off that. So yeah, you want this boot and chance for the Stormbrand to hopefully proc your EO during boss fights. That's that. Flask biggest damage boost would be the Lion Roar. Second best damage boost, it will be a Series Promise, and since you are immune to freeze, you only need one magic flask for the remove curse. I choose the blind smoke because that's extra layer of defense. Since we choose to go Iron Reflex, we convert all the evasion to armor, so we only have 5% chance to evade, and blind just halves the enemy chance to hit you, which is, I think, the most effective thing you can do here. Taste of Hate, like I said, I want Taste of Hate because it gives damage and it gives defense, because 20% physical taken is cold damage, and you get less cold damage taken, which helps again and against endgame bosses like Shaper, Elder. Both of them do cold damage. Even the Delve boss all do cold damage. So that's why I choose Taste of Hate. But if you, like I said, if you want to be more defense against elemental, you can go Unrelenting instead of Unbreakable, and then you can use Law Reef plus Wise Oak. That, if that works for you, then that works for you, but I just choose Taste of Hate. So yeah, that's about it for the gear. And for the tree, like I said, yeah, just look at the POE basically. The trees looks like that. You just grab EO, you go up to EO, you grab the jewel sockets along the way, you get the 2 hand nodes. So, and a bunch of life and all the endurance charge nodes. That's basically the tree. So yeah, I talked about the difference between the slams, AoE and gem link. Yeah, I think that's about it. Basically. Following, I think I'm gonna do some kind of delving and yeah, show you how the build is in action. Okay, also one thing I forgot to mention about Earthquake, the skill itself, not the build, but the skill itself, is that as you can see, if you slam the ground, Earthquake happens. If you hit some obstacles, like so, nothing happens. You will just do your basic attack and no Earthquake happens. You need to be aware of that, and assuming the fence here is the enemy, you instead of swinging at the enemy near the obstacle, swing at the other side. Your AoE is big enough to hit them anyway. But if you hit the obstacle and wanting to hit the mobs beside the obstacle, nothing will happen, and you will not be leeching. You will not be leeching your mana, not leeching your life. You will just take a lot of damage. Just swing at the other way, it will still hit them. That's the thing. So, like I said, the damage is only average, but it is actually pretty damn good at delving. Let's pick a semi-long route, for example this one, and show you the character in delve. Because your AoE is so big, you act and you have the knockback, it's actually really good in terms of delving. Because you just kill everything. None of them is as tanky as Guardians and stuff. And yeah, as you can see, you may want to swing more than you need to in delve, because delve mobs are way dangerous than normal mobs. But as you can see, you usually just jump in and blow up the entire room. And because the aggro range of mobs is lower than normal in the darkness, I think they set the AI to not aggro you as far away if they are in the darkness. So when you jump in, throw down a flare, most of the time the mobs are not even starting to attack you. So you can start slamming before they even start the attack animation. So you actually kill most of them before they even start swinging. I thought I'd throw the dynamite. Another 4 socket though. That's the second 4 socket I got this week. Within 24 hours. Yeah, as you can see, you just jump in front and you always have your 45 up because of the mob density, and you can keep swinging. As long as you remember to put down your flare, you always have your damage going off, and you can easily kill most mobs. And because of your tankiness, you can actually do quite well down in delves. As you can see, most of them don't even get the chance to attack you, and they just get blown up by your Earthquake. And occasionally you can even use the Vow Earthquake and lead the charge. And as you can see, I already have the Vow Earthquake again, so yeah, you can just keep doing that. Again, this is only 337 depth. It's not the deepest depth, but it's still one of the harder contents in the game in terms of trash. not the Guardian type enemy. So you can see the damage is there. The damage is totally enough to obliterate them before they can even touch you. So yeah. Maybe we can show, if we have an encounter at the end, we can show you the encounter too. Most of the encounters you can just stand in the middle and keep swinging. Well, but obviously the safer play is still to jump around. Yeah, the safest play is still to jump left and right, up and down to proc your fortify. But yeah, as you can see, you barely take damage. You barely take damage. Because most of them just dies before they can do anything. So yeah. Okay, let's put a T16 map and see how the map clear feels like. So this map has 40% elemental resist, which is actually makes them more tanky than just having monster life, because again we don't have a lot of resistance penetration. So you basically, most of the time, you leap into a pack, slam once, leap into a pack, slam once. Most of them will die, and even if there's some leftover, if they're out of range or you miss them, it will still die because of the Herald of Ash Afterburn. As you can see, they actually die most of the time. But yeah, some of them have more resistance, but like 80% of the packs you slam once and they're just all gonna burn down if they're within the range. So as you can see there. And even if you do not have EO, most of the time they still die. And if you see a rare, maybe you can slam a few more times, but for rare or magic packs, you basically slam once and they are gonna die. The rare may need one or two more swings, but yeah, as you can see, most of them just die by slamming once. Airlines cannot die though. As you can see, even the magic pack are basically mostly dead if you only slam once. If you're not on a ally resist map, you can just slam once and go. If you are, maybe you need to slam a bit more. And yeah, Rattler Earthquake most of the time is enough to take down the Syndicate members. But again, this map has resistance, so yeah, you may need more. Oh yeah, he still run away because he's not inside the range. But most of the time, your Rattler Earthquake will kill the Syndicate members. But again, where ally resist is the most defensive mod you can get on the map.
Once the fight is over.
So yeah.
Knew you were weak. Don't bloody knew it. I guess it's time to play.
So yeah, anyway, I just make my gem 20 quality, so most of them are not even high level yet, so but you can see the damage is still there for tier 16 map clearing. So for bosses, concentrated effect is still gonna do a little bit more damage according to POE. But then again, for yeah, let's just show you the damage with con effect. As you can see, the AoE is still kind of big, so the damage is not the best, but it's enough for endgame, I would say. It's a tiny bit slow, but bearable, I would say. And you can use your Vow Earthquake. The Vow Earthquake is enough to do like half of its health or something still, even though it has ally resist. So this is the Con effect in action. For ally resist maps, the Con effect will be about the same damage as the concentrated effect will be about the same damage as the lightning pan according to POE. When I set the extra 40% resistance to shaper tier enemies, the damage is less than 5% difference. So yeah, but normally you want to swap in Con effect and you will kill them way faster. The Vow Earthquake will be enough to bring them down to less than half most of the time. So yeah, that's that. And I even forget to prop my... But I guess I did prop EO during the fight, but you want to put your Stormbrand before it, so your EO prop more than during the fight, so that's that. So maybe we can try another map that actually has monster life, and this time around it doesn't have the resistance mod, and we're still using the lightning pan, and get to have a feel of how it's different. But most of the time it will be the same. You slam once, and you go like so. Yep, another Syndicate example. And I click the portal. Great. I click the portal instead of the Syndicate. Okay. Oh, come on. That's not a good time for trade.
Wrong job, assassin.
Eradicate the exports, then pirates don't do well with boredom.
As you can see, the Vow Earthquake is gonna...
Fun's over, Brine Rot.
Wait, where is the... Ah, they ran away. I did not find the guy. Well, sometime that happens. Sometime that happens. When one of them just run away and you cannot locate them in time. But as you can see, most of the time, even on the tier 16 map, you leap into them, you slam once, the whole pack is gonna blow up. Oh, that's a roll exile there. Yeah, that basically shows about the same clearing with the... Yep, but trash clearing is not that big of a deal. You just slam and slam away, slam once, run away, slam once. Maybe I'm just gonna cut to the Phoenix fight. We're at the doorstep of Minotaur. We can switch to Con effect. Hope I don't die. So the proper way to do is pop the thing before you do that. And wait till he do the explosion, and then you use your Vow Earthquake. You need to clear the Phoenixes because, yeah, they do a lot of damage. Yep, as you can see, the Phoenix do a lot of damage, so you really want to clear them out if you can. Especially when Phoenix do the debuff on you, then you really want to get rid of them. Yep. The damage is not your usual 3 million DPS, 1 billion DPS, but it's enough to do endgame reliably. And yeah, because you're tanky enough, if you just actively dodge those hard hitting attacks, you are fine. So that's that.
I see you, little mouse. You don't belong here. Run along. Turn back, trespasser. Cease this madness.
Oh, I hate this guy. He got crazy at test speed. And his swords also randomly spawn on top of you.
You tamper with things you do not understand. This will not go unpunished.
Where did she go?
Children.
Yeah, because the damage
This
is
your final warning. Leave.
not top
You
tier,
force
so
my hand again, little
a lot of the
mouse.
time you let
So
the bosses dash
you've
around,
chosen
blink
the
around and
side
stuff.
of chaos. This is my world, and you shall obey my order. Gaze into the abyss.
They're coming through.
From the void.
Well, that's not bad actually. The damage is not bad actually. I did like 90% of the face.
Inconsequential.
He's trying to recover. Hurry! Let's find a way back.
Am I using con effect? I'm not even using con effect. I'm not even using con effect. Damn, I'm not even using con effect. If I'm using con effect, maybe I can face him there. This side, I think.
your unmaking.
Father, it's me. Let me help you.
The horror must be stopped. Obstacles destroyed.
Stay close.
Damn.
Embraced by misery.
I kind of want to see if I can survive the slam. There's no way I can survive the slam, but I kind of want to see if I can.
Irrelevant.
He's recovering. We need to find a way back quickly.
Which way do I go? Sometimes it's confusing which way you should be going. Unshaped can still shotgun me to death though. Yep. Good thing we don't need to stand in his face.
These
We don't need
memories
to
are
stand
mine.
in his face.
I cannot lose them.
They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory.
To save the future, the past must be sacrificed.
To me, exile, quickly.
Oh, of course you instantly do that.
Gaze into the abyss.
Buy me some time.
And great. Great. Shaper just intentionally wastes my time. I actually survived that. I actually survived the slam.
Gaze into the abyss. Ultimate chaos.
And he do that again. I actually survived the slam. Okay, Shaper is not too bad. Shaper is, yeah,
You're all grown up.
that's that.
Creature. God. How could we have known?
So if we have all the buffs up, am I in with flask up? I should, because if I do not have the flask up, no way I can survive the Shaper Slam. Okay. I think that's it for today.
How are your maps, exile?
So, thank you for joining,
Stay inquisitive.
and I will see you next time. Goodbye.